Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we will let the record show, Madam Secretary, that all trustees are present. And then we have the agenda, which everyone has received earlier on, and here it is. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, will someone move to accept it, please?
I'll move.
Go ahead.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Second, Jason, okay. We are using the agenda as it appears. Second item of business, we have the 3/19 regular meeting minutes. Are there any corrections, comments, or things regarding these minutes?
Yes, one thought about, there in the public comment time portion, I can pull it up online, but, in the public comment time portion, with
I've got it here.
Jean specifically, it mentions that she wants to continue working with the children. That's really good. But she also mentioned that she wanted to be on the strategic planning committee. So we
Yeah.
should just add that into the act there.
Okay, you can add that.
Yeah, let me just
All
have
right.
them right here so we just get it in the right spot. Okay.
Okay, all right, with that correction, are those okay with everyone else? Entertain a motion to adopt, or excuse me, to approve these minutes.
I so move.
We'll move,
I'll second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue with the president's report. I have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming out on a beautiful evening like this. And a couple of things that I want to talk about. One is the alarm, and I am chagrined to tell you that due to my mistake, I set the alarm off not too long ago, and I can assure you that it works perfectly. Josh was here with me. We sorted it out, no harm, no foul, but it did lead us to give some consideration to things that we may want to change or whatever, and we'll be discussing a little bit of that tonight. So there you go. Now, as to the Strategic Planning Committee, it is now fully populated and functioning. I have appointed 6 people to this committee. Marion Allen, our librarian, Jonathan Bailey, Rosemary Gardner, Maggie Hartley, Jean Romer Seelick, Seeslick,
That's okay.
and Janice Waterhouse. And Rosemary Gardner is the chair. The committee will be meeting twice a month and providing a report to the board at our regular meetings. And so now we're on our way to meeting the requirement of having a strategic planning committee in place, or strategic plan in place, and we have the committee in place. Another item was the question about the debit card. You who have attended before may remember, I was going to check with the attorney about establishing a debit card for petty cash purposes. I did do that, and he indicated that in the past he misspoke in terms of cards. Debit cards are allowed for libraries, not credit cards. So he said that was perfectly acceptable. And what we've done is established a separate account with a $250 cap. And each month, Marion will report the transaction activity that occurred in that account and have the receipts and so on. So we'll have full control of the petty cash situation. And lastly, and not leastly, is just a reminder, there is an election, May 21st. Petitions must be to the clerk of the Hadley Luzerne Central School District no later than 5 p.m. on April 22nd. If you need more information, there is a link on the library's homepage. You can get the documents, you can see what it's all about going to that homepage. Okay. Vice President of Finance, please.
Okay, this month as of today, our current checking account balance is $301,070.67. Our expenditures are $680 to DiLorenzo and Associates. It's a little more than it usually is, but that includes payroll processing and quarterly tax report. To our auditor, $3,500, which is a portion of the $13,500 fee. And this is for the preliminary audit procedures. North Country Janitorial, Green Acres, and Waterhouse Fuels are monthly items at $40.95, $325 even, and $490 even, respectively. Electronic office products, $209.86. NYSA for disability benefits is $47.12. And Spectrum here is 2 months, it's accumulated 2 months. It was a snafu with billing before last month. So the total here is $239.94 for a total of $5,532.87. Shall we vote to approve those expenditures now?
Any questions on that? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we accept them.
Second?
I'll second.
Second from Maggie. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. Thank you.
Okay.
Other items?
So, other items, to recount we now have a second checking, which is being used for petty cash. Marion and I visited our banker together and took care of that. So that account is going to be fed from the main account at the first of the month, to make sure that there is $250 at the start of the month for petty cash expenditures throughout the month. And of course, if it's not used, then we just make up the difference so that there's $250 to start at the beginning. We do have some deposits. Marion and I were catching each other because of vacation and such, but in the future, she'll report this. Marion's devised a very nice plan to maintain and record the goings on in the cash drawer at the front desk, and making weekly deposits. So to this point, a total, it's usually a very small amount, like $6 or something, but we're doing it. And so at this point for this month, we had $17.60 deposited in the account that came from proceeds from the cash drawer at the front desk. Okay, I'd like to talk about the CDs again, just to remind everyone, certainly the trustees, that both of the CDs will mature this month, one on the 22nd and one on the 27th. They're going to be moved to 6-month CDs within the 10 calendar days that are allowed. And at present, that interest rate is 4.81%, which is substantial. That interest rate has been stable, and according to the banker, it's likely to remain stable for another month anyway. So we're in really good position to earn well here. Now, as we're talking about investments, there's been discussion among the trustees and with you folks about the substantial amount that we currently have in our checking account. It's not that we always will have that much. It's partly because of what's happened in the last year. But we do have a substantial amount in the checking account, and probably more than we're going to need before next January when our next allotment arrives. So we do have an opportunity here to be a little creative with these monies and do a little more earning. One option is to move them from checking into other CDs, 6-month CDs, which currently earn more than 12-month or 18-month CDs. But it seems that there is a better option actually for us. So at present, the bank is offering an interest rate of 3.15% on what they call new money, money market savings accounts. So new money would be monies that are not already in accounts. So for example, if all of a sudden we had an endowment or we had a big craft fair and made a whole bunch of money, we could put that into savings and do that. There is a window though. So the allotment that we received in January of $190,000, which is our annual allotment, will count as new money. So we have the option of putting that, taking it from the checking, putting it into this money market savings account. Tanya's tripping. And it has a very, pretty good rate for savings at 3.15%. It's just about a point less than a CD, but we do have fingertip access to the funds whenever we need them. If we need to move them back into checking because we have some expenditure we need to make, we can do that. And we don't have penalties to move it out like we would from a CD. So, and then, you know, we can be looking at that for other years too, or when other new monies come in. So the trick here is that we're really on a tight timeline to fall within that guideline of the 90 days. So that's something that we need to discuss and decide tonight so that I can get back to our banker right away. So what do y'all think about that idea?
Everybody understand that? And what's happening? It doesn't make, as was pointed out in the last meeting, it doesn't make sense to leave all the money in a checking account because it earns 0.03. I found that out today, meeting with the banker. And the account Maria is talking about has complete flexibility. So if there's all of a sudden an emergency and we need some of that money, we can take it out with absolutely no penalty whatsoever. So that way you've got that whole 190 earning at 3.15 right now, something like that.
3.15.
Yeah, just, it's a little under the CD rate, but the CDs, if you cash them early, there are penalties. And you have to be, you know, concerned about that, so you don't need to tie that money up. The other thing is, we're trying to get our arms around exactly what the day-to-day cash flow expenditures are. We've asked for some additional reports, restop me if I'm not correct, from the treasurer to look back a couple of years, since this past year was a little anomalous. We're looking back a couple of years to get an idea of how the cash flows. Then we'll know if there's an ability to take more of that checking account money and get it into some sort of investment. The attorney assured me when I reached out to him about this, when I did the credit card thing, that libraries can invest their funds up to the $250,000 limit that the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures. And we're well below that. So we're good to go if we want to proceed. And the bank is cutting us a little slack on the new money thing to be able to get into it. So.
How much
And
do we actually need to sustain the budget until the end of the year?
Well, we don't entirely know because we don't have monthly expenditures or budget items versus actuals. That's what we're asking our bookkeeper to put together for us. But she didn't ever have a copy of last year's budget.
Are you talking fiscal year, Josh, or?
Until
Annually.
January, until the next.
Until the next thing, so we're talking about roughly 8 months of budget, and the budget is 220. So if you divided that, you'd find that I think that comes out, I didn't do it, but it'll come out to be what's left in the checking will probably be sufficient. And if not, we can always dip into that new money savings account while we're earning that additional amount of money.
So another question is, we don't have to put all of the 190
No,
into
we
that.
don't.
So we could still take out a $50,000 CD and still have liquid funds and still be making some money at some interest at the, you know.
The higher rate.
the higher rate.
It's just that it's,
Good.
I'm a little uncomfortable with moving out of checking into a CD. We have monies into CDs now. I just feel more comfortable having it in checking and this savings so that we have access. We're not sure where we are with expenditures. We have some building and grounds things that we're looking at, we've been talking about, that we need to have professionals come in to look at. And having them either in checking or in the savings where they're, I mean, a point is a lot of money. I get that a point is a lot of money if you're looking at it, you know, for your own bookkeeping, I get that. But for me, and I tend to be conservative with money, no doubt. I like that we don't risk a penalty if we need it, is all.
Maybe you said it, but I didn't hear it. Is that a fixed rate or is it a variable rate? Does it go down after a certain amount of time? How long does that rate last for?
The 3.15?
Yeah.
It's tied to the, he told me this afternoon, to one of these Federal Reserve rates. So if it can go up and down a little bit as the Federal Reserve does, but it will always be allowed to be at that rate. It isn't something the bank reduces on us. It's strictly tied to the Federal Reserve.
But it could go down below.
Could go down, could go up.
Right.
My only other concern is that, like, with our past issues, and we're not fully resolved to where we're comfortable yet to having a second account and having all this other money all over the place, where right now, when we're trying to get our feet under us, it's all in one spot. So there's two things, there's the more money or
Yeah,
getting it back and under control.
the 190 that would go into that account, that savings account, new money savings account, is instantly available to us, just like the money in the checking account. So it isn't that you would pay any penalty. And if we're lucky enough to leave it in there for the period of time that we don't need it, we get that additional rate. So it's not frozen, I guess is the thing.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so, yeah, and then the other thing in my mind is, so put the 190 in that new money account. And once we've got it completely sorted out in terms of what we need for the rest of this year till we get to the other 190, we may find out that we've got a little extra and we can go and take some out of that account and put it in a CD at that point. I don't think we're ready to make that call tonight. I'm not comfortable making that.
So
call.
we're actually talking about the allotment that's coming up in January.
No,
Yeah.
we're talking about the
No.
allotment that we
One we
received in
just had.
January.
When we just
There's a
got.
time limit, there's a time frame from when new money is received. So ideally, when it first came in, it would go into this account, or go into this money market savings account.
Yeah, they'll let us
But there
move
is a time period after it's been received that you are allowed to treat it as new money and do the same thing.
I'll take the lead and say, I move that we take the 190,000 and take advantage of that account, which is called the new money account, and move that in. And then subject to down the road, whether we renegotiate or whatever, that is protected at this point. I move that we do that as a board.
And the idea, before somebody seconds, and this may be out of Robert's rules, but just keep in mind that 190 that's in a checking account now is not earning what it will earn, and it's gonna earn more in the savings
Right.
than if we leave it sitting in the checking.
Is someone
And it's
second?
easily transferable online from the savings account to the checking account. I can do it with a push of the button online. It's up to you.
Okay. So do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? All right, all opposed?
Aye.
All right, 2, okay, 3-2, motion carries. Any other,
Nope, that's everything I have.
okay, moving to the secretary's report.
I have a very short secretary's report. I sent out a media advisory about our reopening ceremony to local media, to anyone who was on the website in the 4 towns we serve, councilmen, historians. Are you on our website?
I should be.
I didn't see it. I found the Stony Creek youth director. That was the only youth director I
My
found.
personal one is too.
What's that?
And personal.
Is on there.
Yeah. And it should, my email should be, yeah.
Well, I'll send it to you. I sent a few extra, I sent the initial one out on the 9th, and then I sent some more on the 15th, and I mailed one to the Stony Creek Library and sent them to our legislators and the History Museum, the Folk School, the Business
I will
Association.
say too that Sarah Dallas spread it throughout all the directors in
Oh,
the
good.
library system. I got the email.
Oh,
I
good.
saw it today and when she set up, but she's like, little joy, spreading of joy, and it's the whole press release.
Oh, nice, good.
So
So,
all of the directors in the sales and MBLS systems have gotten notification.
all right, good.
And we've got these.
Yes, and we've been handing these out, and I've been mailing these
I've
for.
been pinning them up wherever I could, so.
Yes, the Historical Society came in and they had something for us to sign to hang up, and I'm like, oh, here, take some of these. So she took a handful.
Oh, good. I sent her one electronically.
Yeah, I gave her a handful today.
Okay, good. That's about it. I apologize. I got the minutes up late this time for the March minutes, and that was my fault. I didn't get it in time before vacation started, so.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay. Now, let me ask this, does the board feel it's necessary to accept these reports, or do we just accept them as they go?
I don't think we need board action on
I
that.
don't think so. Okay, good. I didn't want to do anything that anybody was not comfortable with. Okay, moving on to manager's report. You're on, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, sir. Like, take one, pass one down, and then these are self-pictures. News and updates. The fire extinguisher has been mounted on the wall. Yay! I believe our cleaner, Teddy did that. I have not yet ordered shelving. We're still working on trying to find, a tax exempt letter so that we don't have to pay taxes on the shelving. And we certainly want to save that money if we can. I'm also waiting on an estimate for the new door handles. And I did speak to our building inspector, Thomas McKinney. I just sent down, for each of the board members to see a copy of the email where, bottom line, it's okay for the doors to swing in because we have so many options of egress out of the building, and based on the number of people that we can have in the library at any one given time, it's okay that they open in, because I know that was a question that came up at our last meeting, and we're good to go. So, also I have, I know everybody will need to look at it, but I have a new policy for the change drawer that we need to approve. And something very exciting, if you go to our website, on the main homepage now, there is an adorable little owl. And that is a hyperlink to our databases. That was something that was very important to me because it's a wonderful, wonderful resource. And through my experience at the school, it's easy. It's right on the library homepage. And I reached out to JA and they helped me make that happen. So it's right on the homepage. You can just click it and it links you right to it. And it's encyclopedias and magazines and all kinds of other interesting things for research. Statistics, since the last board meeting, we have had 376 patrons visit our little library. We've had 654 transactions. That's, books being signed in and out, renewed, etc. 185 of those are e-content. So still getting lots of traffic. FOIL requests, I continue to work on organizing the files and finding what we can. Rudy and I have worked together and we have been able to answer a handful of requests. And if patrons have not yet been notified, they will be very shortly. Under personnel, I have submitted my application to the civil service to be able to take the exam, and I did send a signature received, so I do know that they received it. And I still plan to hire at least one more clerk for a minimum of 20 hours per week as soon as we can get that all sorted. Buildings and grounds, it's pretty much the same as last month, more seating in the backyard for patrons, to enable the community to enjoy our beautiful view out there, especially during the nice weather. Trash receptacles back there to help keep the area clean. And obviously the use of the backyard is very seasonal, weather permitting, and then either fixing the patio or removing it. Same with the center display. It's just basically the same as last month. And then just a reminder that our contract with Green Acres does expire on June 30th. And we will need to put out bids for that for the coming year. Other concerns are a repeat, still better lighting in the manager's office. It is better than when I started, thanks to Josh. But we've discussed that in the past, that it does need some improvement. Repairing and painting the wall, because with the new shelving, it's a different height, so you can see how it was painted around. It's just would look nice. It's cosmetics. It doesn't affect the functioning of the library, but we have a broken window in the front of the library. And something that I would like to discuss, I don't know if you guys need to vote on it or not, is because we've had some challenges with my transitioning into this role, because bills and other important things were being directly emailed to Courtney at her email, and that we have the option of having those sent to LUS director, and then that email can be forwarded to anyone who's in leadership, because I get those emails now, was director, and in the interim, Claire got them. I just think moving forward, if we can get anything that is day-to-day operations, that keeps the library functioning and moving forward, should go to that email, just so that, I mean, we don't know what tomorrow brings.
So then no matter who is here.
Right,
it
so no
goes
matter
through
who's
it.
here, they have access to it, and we don't have some of the snafus that we have been dealing with. I got mine out of order.
Well, you do like a mass emailing to the people that send these kinds of things and say, hey, from now on, here, send it this way?
I'm not sure how to do that. I'm gonna reach out to JA and
Okay.
see. And I apologize in advance. I put my own report on the wrong order, so I'm doing things a little out of order. Another concern that I have, since my own is in that order, is the possibility of changing the hours. Claire and I have been keeping track of when these patrons come in, and we have had, since the 1st of March, we've had 647 patrons come in. 11 of them have gone through between the hours of 6 and 8 when we're open, those later hours on Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's just under 2% of our patrons. And I know from my own history of working here as a clerk that that's a very slow time, that I'm recommending that we consider closing at 6 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, with the caveat that should we want to have an evening program, we can always do special hours. So not eliminating, just.
So that would mean, would you be opening earlier then on a couple of days to maintain the number of hours?
I'd be willing to consider, if we want to stay at 40, we can absolutely talk about that. We can do 10 to 6, 5 days a week would be 40 hours. We're only mandated for 35.
Right, I'm aware.
We could do maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, like a 9 to 5, and then a 10 to 6 on Wednesdays and Fridays or something. I'm open to discussing it. It just, to me, it just seems like a waste of resources and payroll if nobody's coming in. You know what I mean? We might better have the library open at hours when people actually come in to use it.
I think it's still kind of early, and maybe those 2%, that 2%, maybe that's the only option they have for the library. And then we block it off to them. And again, it's only March. We've been a little over a month and a half.
Right.
So we don't know, people are still,
Yeah,
maybe
well, I'm
trying to
also
figure it
pulling
out.
from the 2 years that I clerked here. And most nights from
So
6 to 8.
this number's
it was
from-
Maybe, that number is
this
from
is
just.
from right now.
Right, but I'm just saying, I'm also drawing from past experience. It's not just these 6 weeks.
What do you think about during the summer hours when, it's light longer, you see more folks coming in the evening in the summertime?
I don't remember that happening. I mean, it doesn't it's just something I'd like to throw it on the table to discuss, or even maybe possibly just temporarily until we can get some more help, rearrange the hours, because.
Anybody?
So, elaborate on that a little bit, I guess. Rearrange the hours until we can get some more help.
Well,
Help
I'm
me
just
to
saying,
understand why.
we just said that she'd like us to stay open 40 hours. And since we don't have very many patrons coming in between 6 and 8, if we want to be 40 hours, we can do Tuesday through Saturday, we can be 10 to 6, or we could do 9 to 5 a couple of days. So that's I think our busiest times, and we decided was it noon and 4, I think were the busiest times?
I don't remember.
I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that was that 4-hour block that were pretty consistently the busiest times. I mean, obviously, we have no data for Fridays and Saturdays because currently we close at 5 on Friday and we close at 4 on Saturdays.
Right.
So, and again, it's not just the last 6 weeks. I clerked here for 2 years and it was very quiet after 6 o'clock.
Ree, what was the logic behind 40 hours, wanting to maintain 40? Was there like a thought process behind why 40 was a good number?
Just to give as much access to as many people as possible.
Well, why don't we look at other libraries that are small libraries in the area, see what their hours are, see how late they stay open, and then revisit this next month or the month after.
And then you'll have another month of data.
Yeah, you have no
Yeah,
much to
just
do.
give us a better grasp on it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can't remember when the hours were different, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it before I got involved. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. You okay with that, everybody? Get some more data from small libraries,
Okay,
and we'll revisit this issue at the next meeting.
okay,
Okay,
all right,
Sounds
and
good.
I apologize that I stapled my own incorrectly, it's been a day. Programs, next Wednesday, we have a Medicare education class coming. Claire has hung up the flyer, they will be here at 2:00. It's for anyone who is 65 or older, or who will be turning 65 shortly, to help them understand Medicare, et cetera. Our story time will be resuming this Saturday at our open house with two times at 12:30 and 1:30. And at least initially, this is obviously, we can be flexible, but for now, to start with, regular story time is going to be Saturdays from 11:30 to 12 to start with, and we'll adjust as necessary. Our crafting club continues to meet every first and third Thursday. The book club continues to meet the second Thursday of each month. I'm not sure how many were here. I forgot to ask Claire because I was not here last week. Farm to Library continues to be an extremely popular program. And I am continuing to research additional programming for the rest of the year. I appreciate everyone's patience as I continue to try to get on top of the filing system as well as work on programming. Training, I'm continuing to work with Erica from sales for new manager training. I believe I have just one more session this week. Next week, I have session 2 of the conflict resolution training through Mediation Matters. And I also have several other upcoming virtual training sessions over the next few weeks. Yay, yay.
Addressing the lighting in Marion's office. I can fix the lighting, I can replace the lighting, but we would have to buy lights for that. I think the ones that are in there now are slightly dangerous, so they should be replaced.
okay, so we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't know how much they're gonna cost or anything like that. I think LED, but you don't need anything crazy fancy, right?
No, I just want to be able to see.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no,
Seems good.
no, I want a crystal chandelier.
You do that?
Okay, you're gonna proceed with that then? Is that-
Functional
okay, sure.
lighting is adequate, yes.
All right,
So, are we gonna authorize spending, or are we gonna do that out of the 250?
I don't know.
you think that'll be sufficient?
I'm not sure. I don't know off the top of my head.
I guess my other question is, well, I haven't been able to purchase the shelves, one, because I don't have that much money I have access to. I believe I can set up an account with Home Depot, which was where we found the shelves, but the stalemate has been the tax exempt paper. We know we're tax exempt. I have not come across it yet in my, archaeological dig through the files. And I know Ted has
I've got it on my
done
list
some
too.
emailing and trying to get some help through.
They gotta have record of it.
Somebody's gotta have it, but
It's
I reached
somewhere.
out. Our treasurer does not have a copy of it. I figured she would just have one, and she does not have a copy of it.
Mhm.
I checked I haven't made a phone call today, I didn't have a chance today, but I tried looking into my account through Brodart because I have access to the same account that Courtney used, and I can't see any record of it in there. So I don't know.
So how do we plan on that purchase being made for those shelves?
That's been a question that I've had.
Well, we'll have to authorize it, I thought
We did
They did
We
authorize it.
But how will the funds actually get to Home Depot?
Right,
We'd have
well,
to
that's what I'm,
check.
Well, if we have an invoice, then the bill goes to the bookkeeper, just like everything else.
right, that's what I'm gonna try to
We need an
do with the
invoice.
vacations. The week Claire was on vacation, I got very little administrative work done because I was running the front desk, which is very busy. And then I was on vacation last week, so I think I had maybe one full week since the last board meeting. And I've gone online and I've chatted with someone through that I can set up an account, but I'm gonna call them and see, can I set up an account and can we be billed?
Yeah.
So if we can't be billed, then we better revisit that because I don't have access to that kind of money and that's okay.
I don't see why they would be able to do this.
Right, they work with municipalities and
Well,
stuff.
I would
They
think
should be able to help us
so.
out.
On this tax exempt letter thing, libraries cannot use the ST 219 or whatever, which is that little form that a lot of people bring when they make a purchase. We are not allowed to do that. We have to have this letter from the state that tells us we're tax exempt. We have examples of that. I've been on the state website. It's a labyrinth in attempting to find out
Oh, I'm sure.
what it is. The other thing that occurred to me was perhaps for some of the vendors we know well, we could ask them if they have a copy of our letter.
Right,
And we could get that way, that might be a possible way of getting it.
right.
If they do, that's it, we've got it, we have the number, but we need that letter. And we know what it looks
Who issues the
like.
letter, the Department of,
I can tell you who does that, because I have it in
can't
here.
reach out to them?
That's what I tried to do on our website. It was an absolute labyrinth.
Uh-huh.
It's the Department of Taxation and Finance, the OTPA State
Near my building.
Sales Tax
Not
Exempt
extremely helpful.
Organization
No, they're
Unit
not.
in Building 9.
Harriman
I couldn't,
County.
I could
Yeah.
not get through that. I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
I don't know.
Will be filed somewhere with
With
the
the
town?
county.
No, you've been through the file cabinet,
No,
He said the
Talking
town.
about
Is it
town.
the town?
or the town, maybe the town,
Maybe the town
Or
or
the
the county.
county.
maybe the town or the county, town or county. Okay,
Okay.
all right, but that's definitely on our top of our list. We've been trying to do it, and this was just went nowhere when I looked into it, so. But yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to bill us. That would seem to make
Right.
sense.
So I'm gonna look into that. And then I gave you guys all a copy, and I think I sent mine down with it, which is fine. But I created a change drawer policy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wanna read it and adopt it today, if you wanna hang on to it and look, save it for next time. But, I have,
Yeah, we didn't get this in advance.
no, you did not, mostly because I was on vacation
Should we
and
table
chaos.
this, or do you want to act on it tonight?
So, I mean, it's nothing that
Pretty
is.
straightforward.
We're already doing this. We're doing this.
Alright, it was
I mean,
a read, it's pretty,
It was a
Yeah.
quick read, yeah.
I don't think we need to table, just take a minute to look at it and
Any conversations, manager maintain? I think you got it wrapped up pretty well.
I
I
mean,
don't see anything
the nuts and
that-
bolts is we're gonna keep no more than $50. We're gonna make weekly deposits, and I'm
And
gonna send copies of the receipts to Ree.
and if this gets approved, it'll go right on the website, so everybody can see it.
Yes.
Not a problem. Any questions?
I do have a question
Yeah.
on, we have outward focused policies and inward focused policies. I was gonna ask you about, do you want me to send you inward I believe I've written a few of them recently.
That need
Yeah.
an amendment.
I believe we've already approved them,
Yeah.
but just filing and storing them.
Mhm.
Because this would be an inward facing policy, I would think. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how,
You wouldn't want it on the website?
it's not gonna hurt to put it on the website, but it is an inward focus.
Yeah.
Do we have policies on the website that are or in-house?
Yeah, some of the policies are essentially just our internal operations.
Yeah.
Some of them are listed as quote organizational policies.
It's not a big deal to put them on there in terms of the site, right? As far as taking this policy and putting it on there and whatever. I would think for transparency, it might be a good idea to have all of them on there.
is there an Excel file that says, hey, we started with $50 and then this fine or this payment came in, so that you keep track of how the money is coming and going here?
What happens is through Polaris, I can print out a report and I can set the date and the time, so whatever time frame we need it, it will print it out and it will say that we collected, say, $2 for copying, $1 for fax. Polaris breaks it all down. And I do that weekly and I send a copy of that to Ree, and I keep a copy in my filing cabinet as well.
And that makes provision for that in here. I mean,
Say that
that's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's just when I started, there was more than $50 in the drawer. And I did not feel that was something that was smart. It's not necessary, especially since we have no fines on books or magazines unless, you damage the book or lose the book. It's just,
I'm just saying for accountability, we should be able to see that whatever matches this, that goes into the bank matches that ledger.
Not just as
On the library.
hey, it's a protection for you
Yeah.
as well as accountability. So maybe that could be a part of your report, your manager's report. And maybe it's not even something you have to go over.
Well, I guess I'm not quite sure what he's asking
So
because,
there's $50 to start.
Right.
1725 is in. So you say, all right, here's the ledger where 1725 came in and we put 1725 out. If the report said $32 came in and 1725 went to the bank, then where's the rest of that money? There's no way to tell what comes in and comes out.
It says right here, receipts will be kept showing where the deposited money comes from and the dates when the money was taken.
Okay, so where are
Receipts will
those
be-
receipts? We haven't seen them.
Well,
Well, we haven't
He
done that
he
yet.
said that
No, no.
they should be, we should be
They should be
transparent,
public.
and it should be public. We should be showing the board at the board meeting.
Right.
So that should be in the manager's
well,
report.
yeah, and we
Right.
talked about,
But, and she's saying Polaris can just print that out.
right,
Yes,
and we
it's
just
easy.
talked
Right.
about this, and what Marion has been giving me pretty much does that, along with the deposit slip from the bank. We were just trying to figure out whether it should be part of her report or mine. It could actually be both. She could report what she's done, and then in my report, it reflects in the
Right.
total that's in the
Yeah,
checking.
we double check.
I'm just saying for
Yeah,
transparency, if
no,
we
I
have that
agree.
out here for everybody to see.
Yep.
Then we know what comes and goes, and that's a checks and balances, and everybody's.
Does this need to be rewritten in your opinion?
So-
I'm not saying it needs to be written, because she said it's on receipts, it's already written in here.
Yeah, just that we want them here.
The receipts will be kept in the manager's office.
And if you want to
I
add
think it
and
should be
report it at the,
reported at the
reported
monthly
at
meetings.
the, in the monthly manager's report.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
I was reaching for mine, didn't put my finger on it.
Gonna add that. Gonna add that.
right.
And report.
So it is a pretty formal report. Marion has a copy here. It is
This is
pretty
just
formal.
one. I mean, I have all of them. I mean, if you want those printed out and handed out at the meetings, that can,
I think they should be, it's my opinion, I might be wrong, but.
So we're,
Might be better at the next bullet point.
okay, I agree.
Yeah, this section, yeah, the
Yeah.
last
So
bullet.
what we're talking about, Marion, is adding on the second to last bullet point, a copy of all receipts printed will also be scanned and emailed to the vice president of finance and reported in the monthly manager's report.
okay.
Good,
Is that okay? Does that answer your question, Jason?
good,
Yeah, it's fine.
okay. So as amended, when we have this policy in front of us, any other questions or concerns about it at this point? Okay. Entertain a motion to adopt this policy as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Josh, second?
I'll second it.
Second, Jason. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Yes, okay, great. All right, anything else? We're good,
So this was adopted.
okay?
Just with that,
With one.
that one addition. on the
Yes,
second-
yeah,
second
I got it.
last bullet.
I don't have my computer in front of me. but I will-
She's gonna make sure you get it.
Oh, yes. Yes, and the other thing that I sent you guys is the email from Tom verifying that it's okay for the doors to swing in.
Mhm.
Okay. Committee report. The one we have is the strategic planning committee. I know we've met, Madam Chair.
Well, we've had 2 meetings, and we've made some good progress. We have named all the constituent groups we can think of. We've assigned them. There are homework assignments. We've started working on the survey questions, and ideas are coming in for amending those and making them better. So I'll be contacting all the committee members before the next meeting with the amendment of those, and then the idea is we're doing homework between meetings. We are meeting every second Wednesday, and plan to continue that unless we get to some point, as we need a little bit more time. I can't imagine us needing less time, but if we need more, we can go weekly. And that's where we are right now. It's naming the constituent groups, the groups that we're going to go out to, and deciding what we're going to share with them and have them, ask them to share with us. Then when all that data is collected, we'll be actually writing the plan.
Any questions? Okay, moving on to old business. I sent you, sorry, late in yesterday or it was today. It seems that with this key policy, what I wanted to do was to just make sure that for the main building, the manager's office, the post office box, and the trustee file cabinet, we named the positions that are authorized to have keys. Rather than doing it by name, the library manager is tasked under this policy with keeping track of who's got what key and how many keys we have. So that'll be done, and that can be part of your manager's report if it changes. Maybe the first time you do it, you could tell us, here's who's got what key, et cetera, et cetera. Then if there are changes, that will be reported at the board meeting. So this just authorizes these people. And the change I made today, unfortunately, we caught it late in the day, was we were calling Teddy, our cleaner, cleaning contractor. He's really not a contractor, he's an employee. So we've got him down as the cleaner. So these are the people that are authorized. And Marion will have the record for main building, manager's office, and post office box. Our secretary will have the record for the trustee file cabinet. And nothing has changed in terms of the language that we had previous. Whether or not you've got a key as a board member to the file cabinet that's here, that red one, you can get in it because somebody will come and give you the key to open it up if you're a trustee. So are there any questions on this draft? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept this as a policy.
I'll move.
So move.
I second.
Second, all right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, that was done. Okay, and Jason, we just need to say a few
Okay.
words about this Facebook page.
So there's a lot of question about the Facebook page and can we get access to it? The answer is no, we cannot get access to it unless it's given to us by the former library manager. The former library manager would have to make somebody here one of the, I have a brain message here that's not getting there, but administrator. So you have administrative rights, and then that, the former library manager would have to back out of there, and then we would have control of it. But we don't have that ability at this time, so the option is to wait to see if we get it, or you would have to start a new Facebook page, which would be the worst case scenario because there's already over 800 followers on the old page, and we would have to, there would be 2 Facebook pages for that. One's just gonna sit there stagnant, and the new one would have to try to rebuild. So best option right now is to try to see if we can get that.
The assumption being we should have a Facebook page.
Yes,
Yeah.
Is that
absolutely.
clear?
People look.
People look for that. But you said there was no activity on it this past. or
There's no
recently.
activity since there's no new activity because we don't have access to put anything on it.
Okay. And
So activity is we have to put.
We would do it.
We would put the grand opening on there. We would put all kinds of stuff on there, and the public, the majority of public today does go and look at Facebook and things
Looks like the library did the majority of the promotion prior to.
through
Yeah.
that.
Yes, they actually paid for some advertisement on Facebook as well.
So without the administrative rights to it, there's nothing we can do.
Has anyone reached out to the former director to find out, to find out if,
No,
we're not
I think
gonna
that
get access without.
Probably be most appropriate through the
through
attorney.
the attorney.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you'd like me to just see if there's anything we can do from a legal perspective
would
to
be
get
the-
this.
There's nothing we can do from a legal
We can't do
perspective. You'd have to
legally. Just-
Give it to us.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we should set a time frame,
Right,
and
and we should start a new page.
if we can't accomplish what we're trying to achieve within that time frame, within a 2-month time frame, we should come up with a new Facebook page, and if we get the old one, we'll just shut it down.
Yeah.
So I'd
Can
say
you shut it down?
you could shut it
If you
down.
get-
If we get
If you
access.
get administrative rights to it.
If we don't.
The best
we just
case
leave it how it
scenario is that we get administrative rights to it, and if, you can see if the lawyer can reach out, and if we can't get that, and I wouldn't even go 2 months, I would say if by the next meeting, we don't have that
We
we
start a new page.
start a new one, you make administrators on it,
We need
I know
a
you don't
policy.
have, you're gonna have to have a policy, and I know you don't use Facebook, but more than one trustee would have to have it, and the manager.
Yep.
And that way, you wouldn't run into this problem again.
And if the email address starting at Blues.
And I would use that, and I would use that
Whoever the
email,
director would have it.
Right.
Okay, all
so.
right, so my task will be to see what Robert has to say about this. Any way we can bring some pressure on her to just relinquish it, that would be the best of all worlds. Maybe there's a bargain to be made, I don't know. We'll find
Or
out.
maybe, yeah, they're gonna.
I'll report.
Maybe. Also, we talked last month about the, investment policy. I think we sent that off to Robert. Any update on that?
I have not gotten anything back
Okay.
from him, and I will chase him on that, okay?
Okay.
So,
You know, the one thing that it's not, same as Facebook, but, it wouldn't be bad to have my brain's not working today.
Instagram?
Instagram. An Instagram account with pictures of
I
the
believe-
yard when it's
I believe-
cleaned and.
There was a lady here last month who said the library does have an Instagram account.
It'll be under the same thing, that'll be controlled by,
They restarted and everything too.
so,
okay, so the idea is never to put it in the name of the person that's in the position, put it in the position, and
Right.
then that's the way it works.
and you
Right.
need to have more than one administrator.
Absolutely.
So that way,
Well, you need to share, I mean, if if it's in the name of Blue's director, then you just need to share the password with more than one person.
if that person can change
That person would have the ability to change
change
the password on
anything.
you, where if
I see.
there's other.
if there's other people and administrators, everybody controls, you can't do.
Okay.
Shut
Unless they
it,
agree.
right, like you could sign yourself out, but you couldn't shut the page down,
Mhm.
because everybody's on it, everybody would have to back out.
There are sites on Facebook where you'll see that they have more than one administrator, and sometimes they list who the admins are.
Mhm.
For me, the whole thing with the Luz director is like, we've had some bills that were going to see care because she was the director. I mean, I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I'm just saying that because of that and knowing how the Luz director, that sales has control of that, and they can forward it to me, they forwarded it to Claire.
Mhm.
In the interim, I think anything like that, if it's bills, if it's Facebook,
Sure.
you know.
It's not directed to one person.
Right, it's directed to the office. I mean, currently, anything that's addressed to Luz director comes to me. So I just think, stuff that's, pertinent to the day-to-day bills, Facebook account, that kind of thing. And I don't know if we want to come up with some kind of a policy of what we want included in that. And I can reach out to sales. I'm sure they can help me coordinate all that. I don't know how massive of an undertaking it would be. It just the hoops that we've had to go through and the banging of the heads that we've had to do against the wall. I just see that in the future, when there's a change done, I'm not saying I'm planning on going anywhere. I plan on being here for at least 10 years. But it's just, I mean, life happens and you don't know. And that's just something that sales has very easily. We made a phone call and Claire said, I don't need them anymore. We have a manager. You can forward them to her. I had an email and it was less than 24 hours when I was getting them and she wasn't. So it's just a very easy transition so that we're not, okay, oh crap, we didn't get this bill. Oh, well, because it was going to the old manager.
Right.
Okay,
That kind of a thing.
so that's squared away.
Yes.
Okay,
But like I said, I don't know if we want to have any kind of a policy to outline exactly what we want, or I made some suggestions in my report, but.
well, I would ask the trustees to think about it. And
Yeah, and I think, over the course of the next month, write down all the things that come in that would need to go there and work on that.
we can give some consideration to that next time. Okay?
It does make sense.
New business? Okay, we got that as a minute. Okay, that was the old business, new business. Alarm codes, everyone got this document that I sent. Basically, as a result of that miscue, we got in touch with the dispatch people of Mahoney, and we now have a call list, which is in priority order, starting with Marion, then Jason, and Josh. And these are because the people are that closest to the library. And in the event there is an alarm which involves security or fire, the alarm company calls that particular jurisdiction first, and then they let us know. If it's some other issue, environmental issue of sorts, they will get in touch with one of these people, but they will get in touch with these people even on the security and the fire alarms. So what's going to happen is we're going to give each of these folks a key. So Jason and Josh, you'll have to have a key. So if you get called, you'll come in and we got to get a couple of keys made to do that. So that part of it is pretty well squared away. But the issue that arose as we were discussing it, and I think one of our public brought it up last time, we've got a bunch of people that know the code to the alarm. There's one code. We can assign a different code to each individual. So if somebody leaves, all that has to happen is that person gets taken out, that code gets taken out, and everybody else is still okay. So there's that, or there's a code that's generalized for everybody. It seems like individual code, no extra charge for us to do that. And for those people that then are authorized to be able to come and go with a key to the library should have their own code. Yes, no?
I think you should have, I think it should be coded per person.
Per person.
That way you have identification of who's coming.
Yeah,
going, and
Yeah, they will know.
unlocking.
They will know.
It makes sense.
Okay, so,
And there was also, I had conversation with one of the owners too, and his suggestion was that it's almost time for us to update the alarm system itself to
yeah, that'll be
purchase a
another
new alarm
facilities
system.
issue.
This one works just fine, as we know, but it is phone activated and the new ones are internet activated.
Yeah.
And so the new alarm systems, the new internet activated alarm systems, that's hard to say, are even programmable by phone for the people who have the authority to do that. So if you left the building and didn't lock, you could lock it. But it's an instantaneous call in too.
So the other one is on a hard line,
Yes.
and so, which tends to, I feel like we lose a lot of internet here. Quite like my internet, I live a block from here and I lose the internet several times a day.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's in and out, and so if the internet's out, then the
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do we
alarm's
ever
out.
lose internet here?
While it does happen, I would say it happens maybe once every 2 months.
Well, we need to research that. then.
Yeah, I would look into, because the hard line of the phone is less likely to go out than the internet, so. Yeah,
Well, I think, we've got,
Well, the problem with it is the phone is tied to the internet in a lot of cases.
well, if you have a hard line, it's not,
it's not, right?
so.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe we could entertain inviting someone to come and talk with us. Maybe we
Sure.
could invite somebody from the
Alarm
alarm company
company
to
and
be a
have
guest
that
and come and
discussion.
share with all of us at the same time. And then everybody hears it at the same, at the same time.
Interested in doing that?
We may also want to consider putting sensors on these back doors, because I think right now if somebody were to open them from the outside, there's no.
There are
Oh,
sensors.
actually,
Are there?
There are
If you look
sensors there.
up in that corner, that is a motion detector and it's keyed
Yeah.
in versus.
There are sensors on those doors
So
too. We
anything
found
that
out.
moves in this room is
All
gonna
right,
be a
because
problem.
last I knew there was not, so.
Reed, those doors do not have the same kind of alarm that goes off the other 2 doors, but there is the motion detector.
But they're connected somehow because they have to be closed in order for us to secure the building when we leave.
Those 2?
Yep, because when we had a strategic planning meeting last time, we were having a
Oh,
little
you
trouble
tested
with
it too,
that.
huh?
And, and the gentleman who came to help us out so kindly, we went to all the doorways looking for those, and he did find them on that door. So I'm not an expert, but they're connected somehow. They have some kind of input into the
Would it
system.
be helpful if we had them come and do a little presentation for us?
It sounds like
Tell
it.
us what's
I
coming
think we
down the
should do
pipe,
that.
what we've got, what they are recommending. I mean, we don't have to take their recommendations, but it might be a good idea to know what's available.
I think we should make a practice of doing that more often, so we all hear it all at the same time. And
Sure.
things, playing telephone games and losing material and details, and just do it all at once.
Sounds
We all
good.
hear it, and then
Wanna
we've
try
got the
Yeah.
information.
Maybe, all right, let's see if we can line them up for maybe either one of the next 2 meetings.
Mhm.
Okay, you know the contact, and let me know when I'll do that, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead
You're
and,
gonna do that? Who's gonna tell you when you're gonna do that?
Yeah.
I'm just taking notes.
yes, and then, just to be clear, we're agreeing that we're going to work on giving an individual code to anyone who is authorized to be able to activate the system.
That's what I
And I'll
understood.
work with Mahoney to get those codes, and then I'll sign them to you if that's okay.
Mhm.
Okay? All right, I don't think we need a motion on that. All right, now we're down to the public comment session. And we ask again, if you're interested in making some public comment, Please come forward, tell us who you are, and we're here to listen. Wow, first time ever. Okay, no public comment. Date for our next regular meeting is the third Tuesday in May, that's the 21st. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I did not see your hand.
My name is Gary Kelson, I'm from Lake Luzerne. A lot of people know me. I was informed that I'm supposed to have workman's comp, possibly.
I didn't inform you that you should. I wasn't sure if you did. I needed the proof of liability insurance, which I had it in 10 minutes from you. Thank you very much. I don't know if you're supposed to have workman's comp. Someone else advised me to see if you should, and I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know the answer. You shared with me that you didn't think that owners of the business needed to.
Correct.
I started researching that, and that I found the same thing, but I don't have it from an authority, that's all.
Okay.
When I asked you for the copy of the liability, that was a concern too, like, are you supposed to have workman's comp? I'm hearing that you do. You shared your knowledge, which was greater than mine, that owners don't need to. And that's as far as we got.
Okay, so am I clear to work here or no?
You have liability insurance, so I'm assuming that you are. I don't have it from any other authority that you need to have the workman's comp since you're the owner of the business.
Okay,
But I'm not the final, I don't have the authority to say that. I don't know it.
Who does?
I don't know.
Well, Robert should know.
Nonetheless, he's been doing, if he doesn't have, if he's required to have workman's comp and he doesn't have workman's comp, he's been doing the job without
I know,
workman's
that's
comp
what.
for
No, but
this
at
long. So he should continue to do the
Well,
work
at the
until we
point at
figure
which
it
the
out.
board becomes aware that that might be a
Exactly,
requirement, we have to
exactly.
act on it. So we so appreciate everything that's already been done. But if it's something that the previous board didn't know that you needed, and if it is something that a contractor needs, then it's upon us to do something about it now, to figure it out.
Another Robert question?
Yeah.
Yes, I will do
So we'll
that.
just check with our attorney and find out. You and I just met, 3 days ago, just 3 days ago.
also, the contract does not end in June, it ends August 1st.
Okay, maybe we're thinking about your liability thing, because that does expire before the contract expires.
Yes.
So we would have to take a peek at that.
You don't need to,
No, I have it.
we'll get back to you on that. He doesn't need to do it tonight. Thank you. Anyone else?
I have it.
Okay, we'll close the public comment. At this point, is there any other business that we need to talk about before we set the date? Yes, sir.
Progress on the budget, how's that looking?
It's getting there. It's getting there. We've got a request in for,
Well, I don't know what your question is. Is your
Yeah,
questions about the current budget or working on the next budget?
The next budget,
Next
the next fiscal year,
yeah,
We don't
that
have a budget
depends.
committee, we haven't started.
Probably need to have
we're
a
pretty
budget
close,
committee
right?
What do you mean?
in time.
Yeah, we have a very short window of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we're looking to get the details of the past couple of years, so we have some data that we can use in order to put forward what that budget should be. We don't have a finance committee per se, should we?
In the past, it's been the VP of Finance and the director. I think it should be opened up. And there should be more people and members of the public that want to be involved. So maybe that means the finance committee. But the motivation for me asking was to make sure that we are putting in enough money for projects and those kinds of things for the improvements.
Yeah, well, one of the things
And
that
I think that the budget committee should be trustees, period.
only trustees,
Yes.
And the director?
Yeah, oh, yes,
Only
yes,
director.
trustees and the
Sure.
director, yes.
sure. We can establish that committee. I mean, that's within our purvey to do that.
I mean, I would say for now, since we're in a time crunch, it would make sense for the budget committee to be the trustees, but I would think, maybe going forward, it would make sense to have a finance committee that had people from the community out of this.
Then I would suggest we check with other libraries too and see what.
That's a good idea.
So you would think all the trustees be part of the budget committee?
I would think for now,
Okay,
because
fine.
we're in a real time crunch to get a budget
Okay,
together.
All right,
But I think certainly in the future, we can check with other libraries and see what they do.
let's establish that, and when we've got some data,
Right, definitely. My concern is we're talking about a security system, these kind of things, but we're kind of bound by our budget after we pass the budget.
Absolutely.
So we have to wait all the way till June
Yeah,
again
we
before
might
we can even consider those projects if we don't take that into account.
right, so, we can call a special meeting of the budget committee, that'll be an open meeting, because there'll be more than 2 trustees on it. And, once we've got that data, we'll proceed. So and that's forthcoming, I think we've requested it, and, we're looking to get it ASAP. So that's coming from Tammy and pronounced from the past.
This is David.
And then the other aspect of this is, we've got a bunch of projects that everybody keeps tossing out in terms of installation for the building, the painting, the this, the that, the that. My intention at some point is, I think we need a facilities committee. I don't know if the board wants to get down into the weeds in terms of, what color paint do we do, or are we gonna insulate? I don't know enough about that to make that decision. I'm not sure the board does. Are any of us actual building experts? I don't think so. And if we were to form a buildings committee that had on it a few folks that knew something about these things, maybe a local contractor, businessman, somebody, and again, it would have to be very careful in terms of them not being able to take advantage of that position. But then we could get some pretty good advice on what's the right thing to do. I don't know what the electrical system in this building is like. I have no idea. So was there ever anything done in the past along those lines? I can't find anything anywhere that says we did anything with facilities. It's always the board.
The reason is because the bylaws state that the manager will
Yeah, I know,
operate
but-
all that and maintain that. So
That's
we'll
a
have to figure out
It's a big lift.
if we're going to do something like that, if we're violating the bylaws by doing that, we'll have to be careful to tread the line or
amend the bylaws.
Yeah.
or amend the bylaws.
Right.
There's a reason why it says that too. There's a reason why it says that, so we don't put a bunch of roadblocks in the way of getting things done.
Right.
The direct is usually the most effective way, so we don't wanna just throw obstacles out there on purpose.
Right.
I understand with big projects, bringing people in on the conversation is important. I think the finance policy now, I think it does that. It's lengthy. Kathleen Mitchell put a lot of work into that and making sure that was exhaustive. But I don't want to take away from the opportunity for directness. This needs to be fixed. Let's fix it. I understand with bigger projects, then we can bring other people in, but
I think it would be helpful, I don't know if Teddy, I know you know Teddy pretty well, if he's one that we could hire, I don't know how handy he is, but it'd be kind of nice to have a handyman, for some of these smaller projects. I am not a handy person, and I don't like to climb on ladders, but when the toilet breaks, or, like the lights, or a doorknob breaks, things that should be.
Yeah, I don't think Josh is saying you have to fix it all.
No, what I'm saying
It's a
is
tool
that
belt.
it would be nice to have, that we would know, who do we call, instead of just constantly, trying to find somebody.
well, I think after you develop those relationships, then you're gonna say, I'm really comfortable with this contractor, I'm really comfortable with this person. We would probably want to know his background, that
It's
kind of
over.
stuff.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry, public, you another
He
public.
never said it was over, so I didn't,
Yeah,
close it. I'm ready.
okay.
The other thing we could do is like get somebody that's doing like an Eagle Scout project that would wanna paint the buildings or something, involve the community like that.
Yeah,
Could do the same thing with the yard. There might be some kid that wants an Eagle Scout project where he came and built seating back there and cleaned it up. So there's ideas like that.
We don't have any.
What's that?
Girl Scouts.
we don't have any-
Well, we don't have one right here, but doesn't mean like a kid from Corinth didn't want to do it or something.
No, but I know even just through the local school district, and I know we are a school district library, there are a lot of groups that, we still have a SAD chapter, I think. And there's the Honor Society, and I think there's a Math Honor Society. They all have to do volunteer.
They have to
They have to do
community
so
project.
many hours of volunteer throughout the year. And that might be something, I mean, this is down the road. I think I've maybe chatted with Josh about it at one point, that I would love to make that a young adult room. And I'm working on the logistics of that. And then I would love to have the high school art class come down and paint a school appropriate literary mural on that. Because they're invested in the building. And then they're gonna say, hey, go see what I painted. And I mean, I know we have copyright laws that we've gotta be careful of, and there's logistics to work out. But I mean, we have some very, very talented students in our school district. I've seen that even in the elementary school, some of the 5th and 6th graders, they blow my mind at what they are capable of drawing and painting. And I just see it as a great way to connect with the school, bring the kids in, and then they're like, oh, hey, guess what they're doing at the library? And in a small town, that's the best way to spread word of mouth.
Yeah, I think personal investment's a good thing.
Do you want to make some recommendations along those lines? I mean, and then this board can take it up? I mean, that's fine. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay?
Yeah, but those kind of thought processes, like you're gonna wanna have this together for that budget conversation.
Right.
Because they're all gonna have to be in the budget if they're gonna happen within the next fiscal year. Or, our hands are gonna be tied, we're gonna have to kick the can till next June, that kind of thing, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I worked here as a clerk, I had presented that. And the questions came up with, well, who provides the paint? And I mean, I know it's all technical stuff, but it's all stuff that we do want to have a conversation about. I don't know what the right answer is as I'm sitting here right now.
Mhm.
I just,
Yeah.
for me, I just get excited at the idea of getting the kids involved and invested. And then maybe it's gonna be a place that they're gonna want to see. And when you first talked to me, the hiring process, that's a gap that I see in our building, is we do cater to the 12 and under and the 30 and up. And then there's this huge gap for our teenagers and young adults, and we need to fill that need.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, next regular meeting, 3rd Tuesday, May 21st, 6:30. And that's it. I entertain a motion to adjourn. I just want to stay in business.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a
I'll second it.
Second from Jason. All in favor? Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.